Good evening, this is the Oscar expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time to predict the SAG Awards for 2024. We got some no-brainer categories, and we got some categories that I can pretend like I'm confident and I know what's gonna happen, but I really am not. Let's start out with stunts. Unless something insane happens that I'm not willing to entertain, such as Barbie winning, I think this is going to be between John Wick 4 and Mission Impossible. Those are the two big stunt films this year. John Wick 4 got a lot of hubbub about, stunts in general in films. But Mission Impossible, it's been somewhat present during awards season in that, it got a couple BAFTA noms, it got a couple Oscar noms. John Wick 4 completely blanks on every long list, every short list, is basically nowhere to be seen. So I think we have to factor that in. When critics groups give their stunt categories, they've been kind of tossing it back and forth a little bit, but I think that maybe John Wick 4 is a slight edge in terms of how many that's won. Another piece of information I have here is that this is the first John Wick film to ever be nominated in this category, and the last two Mission Impossible films have been nominated. So this leads me to believe that Mission Impossible is going to win. The only times that this category has gone to a movie that had no Oscar nominations is Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984. I don't know if you want to factor that in, but I think the general presence of the movie in award season is pretty important. I mean, Mission Impossible is kind of this year's No Time to Die in terms of the performance at awards. Interesting that they went with No Time to Die over Dune, because I'm sure that Dune was predicted to be the winner. I think Mission Impossible probably would have the edge, but that kind of would be a bummer, I suppose, because John Wick 4 did a lot. I just feel like the presence overall in award season matters here. It also made a little bit more money. I don't know. Supporting actor, Robert Downey Jr., thank you, goodbye. We're done. Not willing to entertain Ryan Gosling or anybody else. So. Supporting actress, Da'Vine Joy Randolph, done, goodbye. Not willing to entertain anybody else. Sealed and shut. Sorry about Emily Blunt. I know some people are probably gonna, say, well, last year Jamie Lee Curtis. It's not last year. It's not the same thing. Da'Vine Joy Randolph is sweeping as strong as anybody could possibly sweep. Angela Bassett wasn't in a Best Picture film. No one was sweeping that year. Let's move on to the categories that are really fun to discuss. Sure. Best Actress. Outside of a major upset, which is not really what SAG does most of the time, unless they're really confused and the winner isn't nominated for something. This is between Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone. Now, Emma Stone has the Critics' Choice and the BAFTA. Lily Gladstone does not have a Critics' Choice Award, nor was she nominated for the BAFTA. Lily Gladstone has a Golden Globe Award, where Emma Stone won the other category. So, saying Lily Gladstone is competitive is, in a sense, maybe speculation. I know that she was really competitive with Critics Awards, but she has not actually beaten Emma Stone at a major televised awards yet. Right. But the same could have been said about Michelle Yeoh last year. I know Michelle Yeoh was nominated for the BAFTA. Many will point out that SAG seems to like diversity, and they want to applaud diversity, and Lily Gladstone would be the first Native American woman to win the category. And maybe we can't take that out of the equation. But if we did take that out of the equation, this is the first performance many people have seen her in, and she's very subtle in it. SAG's not really one for subtle performances, and Emma Stone certainly is not giving that. I mean, Lily Gladstone, I think she is going to be competitive till the end, because you will definitely run into people who insist that that is just the performance of the year for them, and nobody affected them like that performance. It doesn't seem like it's peaking the way Poor Things is. I think Poor Things is a little bit the more exciting movie right now. Killers of the Flower Moon happened a little while ago. Michelle Yeoh's narrative, not only about being a person of color in the category, but also highlighting her career body of work and being the centerpiece of their favorite movie in the year by far. Movie ever. Their favorite movie of all time. She had more going for her, I would say, than Lily Gladstone. I don't think this is a one-to-one thing. And, she's not in as much of the movie. And Poor Things is probably number 2 or 3 for Best Picture. When I look at it and I say, okay, there's the big performance that's most of the film in a film that's a little bit more popular. And over here is a performance a little more quiet, subtle, critic favorite, but not critic favorite in terms of winning so many more awards than this other performance here, right? Because they're kind of tied with the critics almost. And I see that the quieter critic performance is not winning the industry awards. I'm gonna have to look the other way. But at the same time, I am a little conflicted with how to evaluate something I do believe in, which is narrative, right? Because narrative does matter. I still maintain that you cannot use diversity to explain any one win. You might have found Lily Gladstone to be the best performance of the year by far, but that also is not going to get you to the reasoning that you need. I think plenty of performances have been the best of the year and not one. I think it's not that well supported that someone's going to win because of their diversity, but at the same time, it's possible that there's a correlation, and if it's a really close race, it could give someone the edge. I'm open to the fact that could give someone the edge if it's a close race. But I'm really like, is this a close race? How close is this race? I think it's definitely close. I think I do have to go with Emma Stone here. All right, Best Actor. Unless you want to say that like Bradley Cooper's been lurking in the shadows all along, and that the showy, most baity performance will still prevail despite not having won any awards yet, then let's just say that this race is between Cillian Murphy and Paul Giamatti. Now, Cillian Murphy just won the BAFTA, which is a big deal. Paul Giamatti won the Critics' Choice, which is also a big deal. I mean, I guess there are a lot of times where you can say that the Critics' Choice kind of gave like a fluke award, but I have seen the whole like Paul Giamatti is winning thing kind of become comfortable with people, or more people have been like, you know what, like maybe we should give it to Paul Giamatti, you know, like he does have a really good career narrative. I mean, he's been in the business for so long, and it's fair to say that this is about time we give him an Oscar, you know what I mean? It's his third nomination. Cillian Murphy's going on his first nomination. He's been in the business for a long time too. I think he has a great narrative. I think we can feel very good about giving it to him. Him and Giamatti have been very likable, very humble, and they have been campaigning very hard. They've been doing like, you know, the morning shows and like the 60-minute features. Like they've both been out there campaigning their asses off. And I think it's very close between the two. I mean, Giamatti's performance is interesting because it's not the typical kind of like big transformative thing. It's actually a role that kind of fits him and his sensibilities as an actor and what we know and love about him like a glove. That's not the type of thing that wins that often, but it seems to kind of be working. Like he's getting pretty close with that. And Cillian Murphy, I mean, he is doing a big biopic performance. I mean, you know, one of the biggest biopics of all time, a movie that's likely winning the top awards at every single awards ceremony, and he is the face of it. He's the face of a biopic that's winning all the top awards. It'd be kind of strange if he didn't win Best Actor in a sense, although I would say that while the movie does have a lot of great Oscar clips for him, I don't think it's like maybe the most Oscar clip-y type of movie where it feels like it goes out of its way to make those moments happen for him. Yeah, but we've seen, you know, a very strong pushback against that sort of performance this year with Maestro. But I think people seem to get this performance at a very deep level, and they feel like it's very perfect what Cillian Murphy is doing. People love the whole IMAX close-up thing. You know, they even like changed the lenses for Oppenheimer in order to shoot pretty close wide angle lenses onto like IMAX format, just, you know, to soak in these sorts of close-ups. And Cillian Murphy understood this assignment, and he's really playing to that extremely huge format. If Cillian Murphy doesn't win the Oscar, I think that people will look back on it and say, you know, we like Paul Giamatti, but like this performance should have won an Oscar. Like, I think that's probably true. But at the same time, I don't think that that's what we should go off of. Like Eddie Redmayne winning for Theory of Everything. Like I think people look back on that and say that Michael Keaton should have won for Birdman. Like they can say that if they want. And that's a great example of somebody who wasn't winning despite their movie being like the front. Aside from recently with Nomadland and Everything Everywhere, that there was like a streak where that didn't happen. Sure. Since like The Artist or something. Yeah, fair enough. But I am also saying that Paul Giamatti is not, he's not playing Stephen Hawking, all right? He's not playing Stephen Hawking. But I think that it has been feeling really good to give him awards. Now, I think Cillian Murphy feels good. I know that they both have like a lot of goodwill and they both feel good to give awards to. That's why I'm saying I think it's really fucking close. It might even come down to, you know, when you have the ballot in front of your face and you're like, oh, I just like love Paul Giamatti. He's been in so many things that I've seen as a kid. Or like, oh, I just love Cillian Murphy. He's been in so many, he's been in shows and all of Nolan's movies and he's been great and everything. I mean, it's very hard to tell in terms of who has the most passion. I mean, they both do, but in terms of whose year this is, like, it's Oppenheimer's year, and he's Oppenheimer. So I feel like that gives him the edge for me. But at the same time, I'm wondering if SAG is going to deviate here, because I will be predicting Cillian for the Oscar, even if they give it to Paul Giamatti here. You will? Should I? I don't know. I probably will. How good is Paul Giamatti's speech going to be? How much is it going to make us want to give him the award? Look at what Jamie Lee Curtis did last year with her speech. I do agree. If Cillian Murphy wins, it's over. It's going to Cillian Murphy, and we can say Critics' Choice is a fluke. But if it goes to Paul Giamatti, then I think it's still pretty 50-50. And I like that mystery. I'd be happy if it went either way. But I've noticed that people are kind of feeling Giamatti lately. As 50-50 as I am in the category, I'm going to try to say Giamatti here just because I've been thinking that like go pretty far, get pretty close.
Man, you really believe in this. You're convincing me.
I didn't know I was being convincing.
You know, I didn't feel that when I saw Oppenheimer the first time that Cillian Murphy was going to win for it. I just thought he'd be nominated. But he's clearly top 2, and he's been winning a ton of awards.
Did you think that about Paul Giamatti?
The only person I thought it about was Coleman Domingo and Bradley Cooper. And I was very wrong, because people seem to not be as into that this year. And maybe I do agree with you about Paul Giamatti.
Really?
Yeah.
You were so gung-ho. But what about the man who's leading the biopic that's the biggest Oscar?
Yeah, I know, but that's why I think he'll win the Oscar.
Oh, you think Paul Giamatti is going to win SAG and Cillian's going to win the Oscar?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you think?
Perhaps, yeah.
You can think that if you want to. I mean,
I'll go with you on this.
Really?
I'll follow you here. Yeah.
I am shocked that you're.
Because I was really ready to go into this predictions and just say what I thought was going to win the Oscar and how it's going to line up. I'll just deviate here because I could see it. Now, what's winning SAG Ensemble? I think this is Oppenheimer. What do you think is the runner-up? And do you agree with me?
Well, for a while I thought Barbie could win. I think we're in a very different place with Barbie than we were like a few months ago, where it felt like, oh, maybe Barbie's even encroaching on the possibility of winning, and the Critics' Choice with 18 nominations, and then just the feeling that it was being celebrated so much. Hollywood's clearly like in a frenzy for this movie. That I think I could have seen maybe Barbie winning SAG. But at this point, not that it wasn't well embraced at the Oscars, I just don't think it was overly embraced in the way that we thought maybe it would be, and especially the BAFTA. But again, maybe that's like that international block is bringing us down, and maybe the guilds are pretty gung-ho on it. Although I think losing Art Directors Guild to Poor Things was a maybe.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tell. I think it's a little bit of a tell.
Maybe.
I don't think it's going to win no guilds except for
costumes.
Is it going to win WGA?
Well, WGA is after the Oscars, but it still might.
I don't really believe that Barbie has the ensemble of the year.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't see that.
I don't think Barbie has like a thing to the cast that's like, I mean, it's kind of a fun cast. It's a little more diverse,
but it's not. It's not that diverse. It's
really not.
It's kind of silly to call Barbie like a super diverse movie.
It's more just because SAG's brand is going for like fun movies that you want to root for. But I think this year Oppenheimer has not been held back in some kind of like Roma Power of the Dog way where people are feeling cold about it. Like, in fact, Oppenheimer being the blockbuster that it is, being the sensation that it is, people are not tired of rooting for it, despite that it came out in July. And people feel really good rooting for it.
I also am okay saying that it kind of objectively has the best ensemble. Like, there are just so many excellent performances. Every single one of them is pretty perfect. Everybody has their own little favorite supporting Oppenheimer performance, and we're not just talking about like Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon. It's all of the little people in it.
It also has 3 nominations for actors here, and no other movie has that.
Yeah, I think Oppenheimer clearly has the most going for it, and the fact that it's going to win PGA and probably the Academy Award for Best Picture. Obviously that matters at SAG. And so another movie facing off with this one has to have a very strong narrative, pushing its cast to get up on that stage, and it probably has to be somewhat of a runner-up to Best Picture. And the only other movie I think besides Barbie maybe that could win here, Poor Things is not here, just to remind people, maybe American Fiction, but probably not. I just want to throw it out there that like I'm gonna be holding my breath just a little tiny bit, because why and how did the BAFTAs give that Best Screenplay over Oppenheimer?
What does that have to do with Best
you just think
Ensemble? What does that have to do with that?
A little. It just means that there's some love for that movie, and that they could vote for it in a category that's over Oppenheimer.
Sterling K. Brown and Jeffrey Wright are not close to winning. Like, both of them are not top 3.
And that matters to me, and that's why I'm not like going out and predicting it to happen.
Even if that movie wins screenplay, I don't think that means that it was a runner-up for Best Picture. I just think it means, similarly to Women Talking, that it had a very strong screenplay. Like, I just don't see anybody who's like, that is my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, maybe there's a stealth campaign going on that we're not really seeing that's happening with awards and industry
whatever
people.
Campaign that they have going on,
they have going on that got them Best Supporting Actor at both SAG and Academy Awards, and Best Score. Holy shit, Best Score.
Yeah, but you can't beat the Oppenheimer's campaign.
And whatever got it like Best Screenplay at BAFTAs, I'm just wondering if there's like a stealth campaign going on. Maybe it's runner-up.
It's interesting that it feels like Barbie lost steam and people are a little sick of it, whereas Oppenheimer hasn't.
Can you say people are sick of it when it got lost? It got like 2 nominations less than people expected, and people threw a fucking riot across the entire country about it. Like, can you really say it lost steam?
Well, people think that normies have polluted the buzz for Barbie. I also think the unfortunate reality about Barbie is that as novel as the movie was, because it is at the forefront of pop culture, as time goes on, that movie will inevitably feel like it was normal at some point, and I think that that's a little bit already happening. But yeah, I think Oppenheimer is the best shot here. I think it's going to be, you know, I think it's steamrolling it, really.
Yep.
Nervous about my predictions. I do think that like Lily Gladstone, Cillian Murphy, like those are close, interesting races, and I don't know. But
We're just going 4-4 with Critics' Choice too. You know that?
We are.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. I don't care. Just saying.
I guess.
SAG Awards this Sunday. We will be reacting. You can stay tuned.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Who do you think's happening that's not winning the Academy Award?